After seeing the Nightreign has a metascore of 6.5, I started thinking, does the game really belong to that limbo where all mid-games go? Sure, it wasn't developed by almighty Miyazaki, since he's busy with our next auto-flagellation inducer, and it surely isn't our usual map exploration experience with character builds and an intricate story to be told.
Just the opposite, actually.
Nightreign is a roguelike game, where you go out on runs that last from 40 minutes to 1 hour, fighting and running times 20, until you get downed by the last boss because your teammates decided to waste 10 minutes fighting the red-eyed bell-bearing hunter. Blaming teammates in a FromSoft game, who would have thought? Hello, comrade. After doing everything except for coding the game myself, achievements, side quests, all bosses with multiple characters, even the enhanced versions of the Centaur and the Baron of the night, and most importantly and equally difficult, dodging all the saturated aura farming jokes, I feel like I'm ready to talk about this Miyazaki-less experiment and review Elden RIng. Nightreign. First, I will start with the good, and then I'll talk about the bad and the ugly. For starters, I think this game is very fun, for a limited period of time. Running around the map, discovering locations, and optimizing your run each time you deploy is very satisfying. Going from facing the final boss at level 10 with 4 flasks to level 15 with 7 flasks consistently feels pretty damn good, since having increased stats and better gear will allow you to enjoy the final battles a lot more, because you won't be one-shotted, your heals will last longer, and your teammates will actually be decent partners, people who know what to do, who have prepared a preset of relics to exploit the boss's weakness. The sense of progression and getting better with each character is not so different from Elden RIng. Improving your parry timings with the Executor, or simply handing 2 big shticks to jump attack with the Raider 24/7 feels nice. I'm serious, I'm not shaming the Raider for what he is. It's actually nice that there are some characters like the Raider, Wilder, and Iron Eye who are easy mode, so you can relax a little from the constant run, kill, dodge, be optimal, or suffer from your lack of knowledge. Will the recluse mains please stand up? I know how hard it is for you guys, learning more cocktail combinations than a barman, for what? Your character is one of the softest. Your elemental mixes get ruined all the time because your teammates have elemental ADHD, and you also end up with a triple lightning cocktail that does jack squat. She is very strong, yes, but it takes a lot of time and efforts to play her correctly, so it's good to put my brain in autopilot with Iron Eye from time to time. Following this, the callbacks to their other titles are cool for a person who has played all FromSoft Souls games. Some people say that there is too much recycling in the game, and I agree. Nightreign is recycled the game, but those nostalgic bits from their other games are appreciated. The costumes like the Onion Knight, Solaire, the Firekeeper from Majula, and so on. The movesets like the Executor being 99% the reason why Sekiro fans exceptionally ongball have bought this game. With some extra furry action to entertain those who like Sekiro but can't do a parry to save their lives. Or the Duchess with the swaggy Bloodborne sidestep. God, it looks so stylish. The bosses, the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, Nameless King, including both phases, Freya and her little Spideys, Smelter Demon, Centipede Demon, and the Gaping Dragon, all back and ready to kick ass, including their original tracks. I do think some of those choices could have been better. I mean, if you guys are going to select 2 bosses per game, how about choosing something better than the Centipede Demon? I don't know, it just seems so unbalanced. Like, for Dark Souls 3 you get arguably 2 of the top 5 bosses in the game, but for Dark Souls 1 literally a mid and a bad boss? But I guess it could have been worse. It could have been the Bat of Chaos. Next, I think I owe them an apology. For the third thing I'm thankful for, I'm choosing how well they're behaving regardless microtransactions. The same legacy stuff that I mentioned before could have been monetized. In today's greedy and scummy video gaming business, I don't think I would have been surprised if I saw Artorias or Havel's skins with a $5 price tag next to them. Not only are they not monetized, they are also not a complete grindfest to get. Without much effort, I've unlocked many of the game's skins, and it feels nice for a change to be able to cosplay someone from a different title without having to open my wallet. I mentioned owning them in Apology before because in a video I released some months ago during the beta test, I was skeptical with the microtransactions business. I mean, the game costs half of a AAA game nowadays, and despite being 90% recycled assets, any other company would try to get them fat cash money bags from it.
That's what I like to see.
But I guess From God is too good for this. I haven't experienced this next point, but I'm happy it's an opportunity this game's given us, and that's playing with others rid of limitations. For those lucky enough to have friends, and even luckier, friends who have bought this game, it's a sick idea to fight together and put these bosses' foolish ambitions to rest. It's something I've always wanted for any FromSoft game. Differently from many other people who are good at these games, I like the idea of summoning. The first playthrough of any FromSoft game is sacred, and personally, I like to jump in alone. But then, for subsequent playthroughs, that summoning bell starts looking mighty tempting. It's a shame we had so many limitations, like if the area boss is alive, the level of the character, among others. Fast forward, here we are with a Souls game almost entirely focused on cooperation. It's nice. Speaking of bosses, it's true that there are a couple of bad ones. I despise the moth and the flying elden beast that puts you to sleep. Those two are disgraceful fights, and I really don't look forward to repeating them.
Several days later.
Well, shit. But still, in a game with 8 final bosses, the fact that I just dislike 2 of them speaks volumes of the quality of them all, including a new candidate for top 5 FromSoftware bosses of all time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Caligo, the miasma of the night, is that damn cool. From the soundtrack, the boss design, the visual spectacle, his moveset, it's beautiful, entertaining, not frustrating, and when you defeat him, that realization that you've overcome an incredible fight hits you like another masterpiece by me. A masterpiece. Very nice indeed. Hi, this is the break between the good and the bad. May the good blood guide your hand to the subscribe button. It's free. One thing that I don't regret mentioning a few months ago when I tried to predict this game's performance is how repetitive it gets. It still stands true. For the record, I am not a Discord or Reddit modder who's afraid of a job application or a real job, so I didn't sink 30 hours into this game in a single weekend. I'm saying this because, as usual, there's people with 2 brain cells who reviewed the game as repetitive or boring because they milked it dry in 2 days. In my case, I bought it on release day, and as I write this review, the game's been out for a full month already, so my 50 or 60 hours were spread all over the month, and even so, I don't see myself playing it much more. It can be one of those live service games where I boot it every time some content drops and that's it. The maps change, and so do the enemies that come with a variation. The crater has flame priests, and the mountaintops has snowy trolls, for example. Noklatio has a unique fight against a natural born of the void, and each variation comes with a secret that if you manage to acquire, it gives you a big buff. For instance, if you beat Astel before the storm covers the city, you get a resurrection if all teammates get downed, which is awesome. Despite all of that, I still get the sensation I'm seeing the same thing over and over. In 2 runs, you might have already seen everything a special map has to offer. That goes for the crater, the rotted woods, the mountaintops, and Noklatio. Since an expedition is 50 or so minutes long, I've been able to do 70 plus of them, and I can tell you it's getting a little old too soon. And thank God for the update where you can spend Merc to change the shifting earth, because I had to become a Christian and pray to Jesus to get the crater once I moved past it. It seems like a community thing, that no one could get the map for the longest period of time, but now you can if you pay with in-game currency. According to the tutorial, you could rest in your bed to change the map, but in my game it was bugged and I didn't even get shown the prompt to rest. Guys, may I remind you, your game is like 90% reused assets? Can we at least get the technical aspects of the game right, since we didn't have to build the game from scratch? Thank you. I'll finish the repetition point by mentioning this. How many of you have thought matches progress almost identically to others? Go to the castle, deal with the machine or the knight, grab a key for the jail, finish the jail boss, and then visit ruins or camps that have the same enemy layout every time. Even after beating the game, there's no variation. You don't get any extra challenges, or debuffs that increase how much merc you earn. There's nothing, just repeat the same bosses you've already beaten with different characters, I guess. But hey, you can change the brightness of the main round table hold from dark to light. Jeez, thanks guys, I don't know what I would do without this. Moving on from this, I have a minor complaint regarding the Remembrance outfits, especially the Wilders and the Revenants. I get side quests are not the most complicated things to do in this game. You get exclamation and objective marks showing you where you have to go practically all the time with a few exceptions, but depending on the person's skill set, beating a Night Lord can be challenging, especially if you're going for a character you're not very familiar with. The Revenant requires you to beat either the Tricephalos or the Dark Drift Knight. It's a no-brainer, go for the dog, but again, for a person who has never played Elden Ring, because believe me, there are people playing this game who have never touched Elden Ring, They are going to have a tough time doing that, and God forbid expecting to have fast queuing when going for a remembrance. I don't know what's the problem, but it takes a long while to find other 2 players when you're going for a quest. Beating a whole expedition, and mind you, that's just 1 remembrance. And she has like 8, I think. Doing all that just to unlock a slightly cleaner version of someone's feet? Kojima would be proud. Can you skip the goddamn door opening cut? Hold on a minute. Can we skip the damn thing, bro? Wilder gets a microscopical pin that not even you will notice in your own character. I shit you not, I spent 5 minutes looking at the character on the mirror trying to find the difference between his standard outfit and this. I know they can do better because you have the recluses and the raiders, which change their image drastically. Why couldn't we have the same thing for the rest? Also, I would like to see runs more well balanced, and I'm specifically talking about the map with the castle in the middle. You are literally screwed if you get the variation with a bell-bearing hunter at the bottom and the 96-97 NBA giants at the top with pixel-perfect accurate jump shots. The bell-bearing hunter with red eyes, I think it needs no explanation. I watched an Instagram reel where a dude modded his revenants to be able to summon the dancer, smelter demon, and the night aspect, all 3 at the same time in their second phase, and they still freaking lost. He is so infinitely overpowered that people run at the sight of him. If you see a dude shaking his head near the castle sewers, it's the universal language for, "We're moving somewhere, boys, don't even try." The giants by themselves suck, because the other variations with Silver or Crucible Knights are much easier to manage and net you many more points. The giants, however, take too long to kill because you have to avoid the one you're fighting, plus the projectiles from its friends. And in a game where a second can make a difference, it's not cool to be underleveled just because the RNG was unfair to you. But dude, come back at night 2 and you can clear them. No. You can't. Night 2 exists to go for the boss at the top of the castle, and the other big threats scattered around the map, like the Deathrite birds, Erdtree avatars, sentinels, and whatnot. Especially in the crater, where if you want to do the secret, you must spend like half of Night 2 going for the legendary upgrade. So yeah, summarizing, I know this is a roguelike game, and each run tries to be as different as it can from the previous, but I don't think it's balanced to get to the final boss fight at level 12 just because I got bad RNG. Regarding the bosses and the callback bosses, I have to say that Dark Souls 1 has 2 of the lamest. Not only because who they are, but also because of their gameplay. The Centipede Demon and the Gaping Dragon are a whack festival where you keep hitting them and it's like these 2 don't even know what to do. Being a game from 2011, I had hoped they would change their movesets a little to adapt them to a fast-paced gameplay such as the one in Elden Ring, but nope. They just have a few new shenanigans, like that bile that the Gaping Dragon spits decreases your maximum health for a period of time. And you can cut the Centipede Demon's limbs, but that hardly makes any difference. The moment they appear, everyone just starts slapping them left and right until they jump. That's the moment where you have to move 1 inch back, and after they land, keep thrashing them again until they get stunned, and the boss fight is over in literally 30 seconds. It's just a bad recycling case, even more so considering Dark Souls 1 has good bosses to fight as a trio, like the Four Kings and Ornstein and Smoke. Imagine the Four Kings here, a new one spawns every 30 seconds, and if you don't DPS it, you can see yourself fighting the 3v3. And now that I'm talking about bosses, let me tell you that some of the Night 1 bosses are utter trash. Wormface? Really? Didn't I just fight one in some random ruins? Ah, but this one has a death blight meter, filling as long as you're close to it. Okay, I'm sorry, they're completely different, yeah. And talking about variety, how many times have you fought the Dancer? Or the Godskin duo at the end of Night 2? For me, just once for each. And what about the Draconic Sentinel and the 2 backup cavalry guys? Or Commander Nile? Thousands of times, for sure. Here's a few more tweaks I would do to make gameplay more comfortable. Stop asking players to assign charms and smithing stones manually to a slot. Why do this when all other objects go straight to your inventory automatically once you pick them? How many times have you pressed the button to grab the charm and start running to escape from the storm, but whoops, you still had to assign it to your inventory? Time to come back and waste more time in the storm. Makes no sense. Secondly, Make mines more valuable. There's only one reason to enter them right now, and that's to upgrade your weapon to purple status, but you can already get thousands of purple and even a few golden weapons outside. If you're not playing the Executor with his Bleed Frost Poison build, going for Smith and Stones is almost a waste of time. Speaking of the Executor, do you know what's keeping him from being an A-tier character? The fact that while transformed, if your health bar gets to 0, you enter the dying state. It doesn't make any sense. His primary power is already hard enough because it basically requires you to play Sekiro in a game that is more about mashing than parrying. Why would anyone think downing him while transformed is a good idea? Especially when there's only one way to heal him in that state, and that's if you, before the run, equip the relic that gives you healing if you howl. And where's the effing crossplay, for Christ's sake? My friend has this game for PC, but I can't play with him because there's no crossplay? Not even Call of Duty does that, for crying out loud. And lastly, fix your bugs. I never get tired of saying this.
The game is recycled.
I understand the team is smaller, the budget wasn't as big as in Elden Ring, but you had 2 years to polish maps that are the size of Lingrave with 90% reused assets. It feels bad to beat a boss who gets stuck at something, or who straight up doesn't even move. And no, I wasn't disconnecting from the match. I know bosses start ignoring you and your teammates start spinning out of the map when you lose connection. It has happened to me, but that wasn't one of those situations. So yeah, fix your damn game. Well, comrade, with all this being said, I think I've already glamorized and bashed the game enough for one video. If you're interested in another video from Nightreign, ranking the Night Lords, the playable characters, or therapy sessions for recluse mains, or something else entirely, let me know in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this soon. If you don't, I hope you get the same variation of the castle with a red-eyed bell-bearing hunter and the NBA giant. And even worse, your teammates will fight him head-on at level 5. Don't let this curse fall upon you. Be smart and subscribe. Bye!